Indrek Polvi is the founder and chief executive officer at B2B Growth. He's an Estonian LinkedIn expert and a dynamic marketer known for his problem-solving mindset and entrepreneurial spirit. He helps people and B2B companies grow internationally via LinkedIn, enabling them to leverage this platform's power to unlock new opportunities. Tune in to find out more about what this B2B marketer's mission is. Okay, fantastic. So Indrek Polvi, welcome to the show, or as you say in your language, tere.
Yeah, glad to be here and glücklich being here. Glücklich dass ich bin here. I like a bit German to you also.
Fantastic. Indrek, I'm really looking forward to this conversation because we're going to be talking all about LinkedIn. So let's just dive right in because this is obviously your area of expertise. You're an expert in helping B2B companies to unlock the power of this powerful platform. Yeah, but for this conversation, let's focus on a specific topic, and that is how to leverage the untapped potential of LinkedIn for businesses. So I want to kick off this conversation with two questions, and I'm happy to repeat, okay? So the first question is, what do you think the untapped potential is on LinkedIn? And number two, why are so many B2B companies implementing initiatives on LinkedIn that are not working?
Oh yeah, so I'm pretty sure if you want, we can make so that you don't have any chance to ask any more questions because these two are so huge that
Yes.
I can talk the whole podcast about it.
Top level. Yeah, top level.
Yeah. Okay, but so the question, so to start answering your question, so what we try to do first is we need to ask, does your company even need LinkedIn? So the problem what I see with a lot of companies, they want to be in all social medias, and then if you go to their website and etc., and you see that they have the icons, like 5 or 6 icons, the Instagram, TikToks, LinkedIn, YouTubes, and it's all fantastic that they have, but all of them are empty or nothing happens there. So the first question is, do you even need to be there? So because if you have an account there and it's not professional and doesn't look good, then I think it will damage your brand reputation a lot more than, for example, just focus on maybe Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, whatever the social media platform that you need, or your ideal audience are, make it look nice and professional, and then focus on one. And if you have more resources, then focus more and more. So that's the first thing that I try to understand from the company side. But if we go, what is the untapped potential? What we see is 90 to 95%. If we talk about the company profiles, a lot of them make really bad content, and the really bad content is they only talk about themselves. Look at our new product, look at what we did, and nobody cares about your product. That is the thing. Nobody cares about it. And yes, there are some brands, and the biggest one like Apple, Tesla, all of those things are really, really great, and people follow them because they're doing something new and they have a really amazing fan base. But the thing is, in LinkedIn, the only thing we tell the companies that what you are selling is trust, and trust with your audience. You're building a community. And if you are not this well-known brand as Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, whatever, most of those brands do not have a lot of trust with their community. Yes, they have business partners and consumers, etc., who trust them, etc. But in social media, like for example, if you are a company that operates in Ontario, Canada, then I'm pretty sure in Texas, US, you have zero trust if you're not like a global like that. But in LinkedIn, you can be. So you need to always think in this, what is the untapped potential? What we see there is, first you need to ask the question, what is the reason our company is in LinkedIn? Who is our target audience? And what kind of content does our target audience want to read? Or what is the value that we can bring to our target audience? So these are the strategic questions that we want to first tap in a little bit, and then we start to produce content, or we start to focus on these people who we see that we have the content that we can provide value. So this is the untapped potential. And also the second question, also what you asked, what they are doing wrong and etc. This is what I see the most is the thing is, what I see a lot in LinkedIn, especially here in Europe, the person who manages LinkedIn accounts, they also manage Instagram or Facebook accounts or do something like that, or they are assistant or secretary or something like that, and they don't have any idea how LinkedIn works, because LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they are all different social media channels, and they all have different algorithms, and they all have different content that works in that case, because Facebook is entertainment, LinkedIn is business, and the content doesn't work. You cannot copy paste LinkedIn content and put it in Facebook and you think it works, or other way around. So you need to know the basics, like how it works, what kind of messages it works. Because for example, in Facebook, really popular are if you do a lottery or something like that. Hey, share this post with your friends and you can win. So this doesn't work in LinkedIn. If you don't like, you can win a 20K expense paid to island with Richard Branson, for example, to Necker Island, something like it. Yes, that will also work in LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure. And there are some cases that, but these like €50 or €100 coupons, etc. Because most of the people who are in LinkedIn, like 70% of them are decision makers. They don't buy in LinkedIn emotionally so much. Like I see a product and then I just buy. No, they will buy from companies and people who they trust. And most of the times they buy from people. People buy from people. So LinkedIn is not B2B, it's H to H, to human. Like that is also one of the things that you need to really think about. So I'm just pausing right here. You have.
No, fantastic, fantastic. A great answer, and yeah, totally agree that it's about selling trust, right? Because a lot of these people that you're reaching out to on LinkedIn are decision makers. They tend to be also part of buying groups. I think that's I would say 98% of the time on B2B that's the case, right? You're dealing with more than one person who's making a decision. I had a follow-up question for you based on something you said earlier, because I think a lot of people either misinterpret this or have a different interpretation. When you say that the LinkedIn content or the LinkedIn profiles are not professional, what do you mean by that? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah. So this is again like something that we see a lot. So we have done over 1,000 profile makeovers in the last 4 years. So and what it is, we go into a company and we fix like about 20, 30, maybe 40 senior people's profiles. And the thing is, what you need to do in the company, first you need to do a training. So because a lot of people think LinkedIn, and it's correct also, but that my Facebook and LinkedIn account, they are my own personal. The company cannot tell me what kind of backgrounds, how my profile should look like, and etc. But what we are trying to do with the training, people need to understand that in LinkedIn, you are not only representing yourself, you are representing the company you work for. That is the business environment. And again, like I emphasize on business environment. So LinkedIn for me, it's like a 24-hour, 7 days a week networking event. And for example, if you work in a company and they are sending you to a networking event, other potential partners and customers who are there, you are dressing up smartly. You are dressing up so that you are polite and etc. You don't go there depending on the event, but you don't go like a smart casual event with your flip flops and with a tank top and you go smoking or half drunk or something like that. So the same analysis is going to your LinkedIn profile. So if your LinkedIn profile doesn't have a background image, your profile picture, it's not your face, or the profile picture that you have is from like 5 to 10 years ago. Your profile picture, the headline under it, like you say, like your CEO or project manager in X company. Again, these are like flip flops to me. Like these are nobody understands if you are a project manager at, for example, XCOM. What is XCOM? What is a project manager? What do you do? So we try to do in the trainings. You need to understand that the profile of your LinkedIn profile, it is not for you. It is for people who do not know you. And on average, this is LinkedIn statistics, that 3 to 7 seconds, one person, it takes them to take a look at your profile. So in 3 to 7 seconds with your profile, you need to have message there that if I do not know you, I come to your profile, I understand what is the value you can offer me. Is it marketing services? Is it LinkedIn services? Or for example, if you're a sales professional who's helping other companies to grow the revenue or kickstart sales, and then it's a really fantastic headline helping fast growing companies in sales department by systemating sales from 0 to 2 million, something like that. You're giving you value preparation already. And then you go to the about section. The about section also needs to be longer than 4 or 5 sentences. It needs to show who you are, etc. So for us, approximately takes like 8 hours to do one profile makeover. And this is not, and if you do it depending on the profile, but again, like if and this is not like heavy details. This is if you want to do like a full like profile, like writing all the job experience, etc. Then it's like 12 to 15 to 20 hours sometimes. So and people don't understand or have never thought about it, that it takes so much work. It's basically like writing your own CV. So writing your own CV, it's not like 20-minute job. It like, because it's easy to make a LinkedIn account. You just sign up, you put the profile picture, you blah blah blah. That's it. But again, I really, really, really recommend people to think like, who is this profile for? Who is my ideal audience, and what is the message I want them to write? Because in your profile, it's like your company website. You are in control of the narrative, that what you want other people to know about you. So again, it might be a too long answer, but all starts with your profile and the company profile and all those.
Absolutely. No, the LinkedIn profile aspect of it is really good, and I think we'll get back to that in a second. I wanted to move us on to the next question. So you've brought up some of the pitfalls to avoid already, right? So, for example, not to be too company centric, talking too much about, oh, our product is so great, our company is so great, and try to make create a more professional LinkedIn profile. What are some of these other pitfalls that people should avoid when it comes to leveraging LinkedIn?
Yeah. So this is a case study that we are just writing. So it's we are working together with it's not popular in US and that, but we are working together with Lidl Estonia. So Lidl is like a chain in Europe, one of the biggest food chains. So we are working, and we did a report with them together right now. We've been working with them for 8 months. And what we did is we took the 8 months. We did about 70 posts in that time. So we posted like 2 3 times a week. And then what we did is we took their competitors LinkedIn accounts, all that information that's publicly available. We saw that they did 50 posts, which is again 20 posts difference. Is that so much? But what we saw when we did it is the competitors started to do the similar way, the post that we are doing it, the writing and structuring. And also the competitors have similar amount of followers. So we all have like these follower amounts. It might different like 400 or 500 people, etc. But what we saw was engagement. So that means comments, likes, all these things. Our posts were getting 4 times better visibility and engagement than our competitors. And so the visibility is 4 times higher with organic reach. So and these are the pitfalls that we see, that so most companies, they do not have posting schedules. They do not have content topics written. They don't have it planned out what to write about. They don't have a schedule. And what we see, which is what typically most companies do, like they post maybe one or twice a week, and then one week they don't do any post because, oh, I don't have any content to share. Then one week they do like 3 4 5 posts, and then 2 weeks they don't do any post. So there is no consistency. But LinkedIn loves consistency. Then, and this is one of the key things that you need to have. You need to have consistent so to say planning. And also it's really important is the days and times when you post. Because for example, in company post, the really good times are morning times when you post, because it gets more engagement, especially 7 8 9 in the mornings. Also post, you need to vary post so to say formats. Some are a little bit videos, then you do a PDF, then you do pictures, then you do a text, then you see you make a question. So you need to see what works for you and for your audience. You need to test those things. But the consistency is key, because what we see is what LinkedIn measures is how long time does one person read your post, and also that what LinkedIn values is the consistency. Because if you post it every week and then LinkedIn measures the time, how much time do people spend on your post and do they read them? Then and they see an upgrade, like you're doing consistently, people spend like 3, 4, 5 seconds more on your post. Of course, they want your post to get more engagement and visibility, because you are bringing tons of value to LinkedIn, because people stay on the platform longer. So these are the couple of things. And then also one of the key things are getting your own employees to engage in the platform also. So the biggest growth in all the companies that we work is it comes with your own people. So getting them to share, getting them to comment, or do these extra actions, only if you get like 2 or 3 people in your company to do them, that's a massive boost. That's a Even if you have like 1,000 employees and 300,000 followers, etc. But if you get like 3, 4 people in your own company who start to comment on post, trust me, the engagement levels will go up. And we see with every company we work with, after 6 months, all statistics, the organic visibility, likes, comments, shares will go up minimum for 3 times in to the previous six
Yeah,
months when we do the statistics. Right? So
yeah.
so these are
Mm.
couple of things that needs to be. But it is a system. It is a really really big system, and you need to know how to play the system.
Yeah, yeah, no, 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 absolutely, absolutely. I think no, you brought up some really good points there. I wanted to go back to this one point you made, and just from your experience, what's the best day to post on LinkedIn?
There is no
There's no best day.
no
Yeah.
like yeah. There is no like this day is the best or something.
Mm.
Very good days are Mondays, for example, because
Okay.
Mondays people go to the office, they start to scrolling. But with your personal profile, also weekends are really good, because Sunday there is again, it depends all on your target audience. Who is your target audience? So for example, LinkedIn studies have shown that the Sundays are really good, because if your target audience are CEOs and decision makers, like this high value, most of them plan on Sundays their next week. So they don't comment or react, but they read a lot on LinkedIn. They go and scroll it and see what's happening, because they are in front of the computer. So we're planning the next week. And so there are multiple things that it's all about testing, and it also depends a lot on the target audience.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose your answer will be very similar to the question on the best format, because there probably isn't one, right? It depends.
Depends. So
Yeah,
the best formats right now
yeah,
are, for example, that we see, if they are well done, are PDF documents. So these are basically the ones that you can click next and next and next. And why they are really good, if they're well done, is because people spend more time on them, because they click on the next picture, next picture, next picture, next picture. These are really really good. They have about 100 to 200% better engagement than most posts. Then the second format that is really good are picture posts. So that you have about 1,000 to 1,500, maybe 2,000 characters of text, and then you have 3, 4 pictures of people, and posts that have people in them, or pictures that have people in them, work really really much better than other posts. When Because people love to see people, because again, like for example, this is what we are doing with the employer branding side, is we introduce people in LinkedIn. And again, like you have, especially if you have a very strong like offline presence, like you have a lot of fans, then these people see your picture, they like it, they comment, some people, etc. So it works like amazingly. Like we have some companies where we introduce the CEOs, etc., and they have a really how can I say, strong offline business culture. And then a lot of people comment on LinkedIn that I didn't know that, or etc. They are rooting for them basically. So we have seen that also. So again, it's a lot of mix, because you need to know what is the company account. When we're talking about the company account, what is the company account's purpose on LinkedIn? Is it employer branding? Is it company branding? Is it building trust with your collaboration partners? Or is the company page a communication channel with the communication channel, etc.? So depending on those goals, the content also varies, and how you plan the structure of posting and etc. So there are a lot of things that need to take how can I say, in consideration.
Yeah, exactly. Or as they say here in North America, there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's an
exactly,
ecosystem, essentially,
exactly.
right? And I'm glad you brought that up because it's such a great segue to the next question. And you've mentioned some of these things already, but talk to us about the importance of the following for leveraging LinkedIn the right way. So, one is having a good understanding of the target audience, having the right messaging and content for the different groups, and having the right strategy. And you did bring up some of these already.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the key thing is also having patience and consistency. These are the things, and also depending now on the company size. So there are also other things that you need to see the company sizes also when we, and again, like there are different strategies with the personal profile and company profile. So the thing is, personal profiles, they get maybe 70 to 80% more engagement than the company profiles, but where the company profiles are really really important are for bigger companies, and bigger companies are maybe like 75 to 100 people plus, because they are also doing recruitment and they have a lot of partners, etc. So they need to allocate the resources to make sure that the company is also well represented in LinkedIn. But for example, in smaller companies, the CEO, founder, board member, whatever the title is, their personal profile is the key to unlocking LinkedIn and or your salespeople, etc. So because with your personal profiles, you can add people, you can communicate with them, you can message them, and this is right now with your company profile, you cannot do that. Well, in some cases you can, but it's not very efficient. So people still want to talk with people, and that's why like making sure that your personal profile is more active, and again, like and with your personal profile also, there are so many things that we seen a lot of people have not considered. For example, if your target audience are CEOs, and let's say in medical industry CEOs, so like hospitals, etc. But for example, your network, you've been maybe 10 years in LinkedIn, all your network, like you, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have thought about it, like who are the people that I'm adding into my network. And most people, I think 90 to 95% of people I'm communicating with, they never thought about it, and they have added in their network people who were their former colleagues, schoolmates, random people, and somebody who sends an invite. But these are not your ideal audience. So if you want to target like CEOs in the medical industry and you want to get better content, then the network you already right now have, they are not producing it. So you need to very strategically start adding these people that you are, so to say, want to get as a target audience, or your customers. You need to add them into your network. You need to follow those people, because then you can see what kind of content they make, what kind of messaging, and again, like there is a multiple steps, because it's not that easy. Oh, I want to sell to medical people. Oh, I just start adding them and that's it. No, it's not that easy, because you need to build trust. You need to know who they are. You need to like, so again, like, and that takes time. It might take like 6 to 12 months before you see any kind of results in LinkedIn, and it's a huge, it's a big investment, because if you like managing somebody's profile, depending if you do content or etc., it's like 2 to 10,000 a month, 2,000 to 10,000 a month, depending on the services you need, and with who are the people you're doing it together, and well, and the service, because it varies a lot. You can get it from Philippines a lot cheaper also, but now it depends on the quality, etc. Do they do this? So there are multiple things that you need to think about, and your LinkedIn personal profile is really really important, because if somebody screws it up, it's not their reputation that goes bad, it's your reputation that goes, and you need to be very careful. But again, like we are working, for example, together with one investor. We did 8 months, 7 months working together. Nothing happened. We added investors. He had calls, etc., but nothing did. But then one of the startups that he was working with, they were looking for a lead investor. So one of the investors that we added into his network, he mentioned, "Oh, that sounds like an interesting person. Maybe we match." He introduced the investor to the startup. They did a little over €1 million of lead investment for the company. That investor cut was 4%, and then our our services were paid for the next like basically 1.5 years, basically our services. So again, like this happened, and I'm 100% sure in these next 1.5 years we will get multiple deals, like 2 or 3 deals more, and then again like the ROI is there, so to say, like now. But again, like it works with these bigger deals. So in LinkedIn, what I normally recommend with these sales is like your product needs to have a return of investment at least like $2,000 to $3,000 a month or something like that. Then LinkedIn makes sense. But if you're selling pizzas, then LinkedIn is not for you. If you want to sell container full of pizzas, then LinkedIn makes sense because the deal values are much higher. So and the ideal, the best companies that I'm looking is like where the deal start with 100,000 or half a million or €1 million, $1 million or more. Because even if you get like 2 sales per year, then our costs are covered, and etc. And there are multiple opportunities will come from those connections. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm glad you talked about strategy because I think, especially based on what you've been talking about in the past couple of minutes, there's many ways that you can look at it, right? Because there's a strategy, there's an overall strategy, but there's also a strategy based on what you said that links to how you plan to approach members of the target audience, right? How do you connect with them? What's your strategy there, right? Because as you said, it's not just, okay, I'll just connect with members of the target audience and then we'll definitely be able to jump on a call. That strategy, that's one part of the strategy. And I think the other strategy is going back to what you said earlier on in the conversation, is based on the content strategy. So what are we
yeah,
going to write about, right? Because I've seen this happen, right? If you don't come up with that kind of strategy, you're going to run out of content ideas, right? You're not going to be able to fill that content calendar. In the way that you produce content is going to be very reactive, which leads to, as you said, inconsistencies, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And again, with the content, think about quality over quantity in LinkedIn. Definitely, you don't need to start posting 5 times a week and all those things. You can start once a week, even in the beginning, just to get, so to say, your how can I say, content idea flows getting to go, because writing content is basically same as learning to drive a car or learning to learn a new language. In the beginning it's not that easy, but if you do it consistently and well, then trust me, writing it becomes very easy. Or you can just outsource everything. So that is also, so there are, I'm a really believer that you do not need to do everything. Like if you are really good sales and calls, then then basically outsource everything else, and you do that what you are, where your ROI is the maximum, basically. So whatever skill set for you that is. And again, like I normally don't recommend to do like content strategy in the beginning with the personal accounts if the person is not very LinkedIn familiar, because there are other ways to build trust and etc. And one of the ways is, for example, commenting on others people's posts. It's a very effective strategy. If you, for example, write like 20 to 40 comments per day, it takes a lot of time. But if you do that, then 100% I can guarantee you in 1 month you will get a lot of inbound messages. Are there the right messages you're looking for? Definitely not, but you will start a lot of conversations, and people notice you as long as your comments are adding value, not these comments like well done or thank you, or these comments, they do not add absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So I do
Yeah.
not recommend those.
Well, I mean, and you've probably heard about this, but there are these groups out there that like the LinkedIn pods, no? And that's what they're doing. It's artificial engagement, no? So they're probably posting something out there that in essence adds no value and doesn't mean much, but then they get like 500 likes,
Yeah.
right?
I've been also testing with the pods, and we did it. You can in the pods you can also write the comments yourself, and to make it longer, etc. And there are also those, and but again, like you kind of see which posts have using the LinkedIn pods, etc. Because LinkedIn is banning them, and but if you're using smartly, it still works. But again, like I think in some places it is an interesting strategy in the beginning to get stuff going. I do not recommend them, definitely not. But depending on the pod, sometimes the pod can be also 5 or 6 people that let's help each other grow. Like we build an engagement pod ourselves, and we add valuable comments to each. And if your content doesn't resonate with me, I don't add a comment. Basically, like that, you do that. Or maybe there are 10 people. And but what I see with those, you can really see that the comments sometimes, if somebody who doesn't know how to use them, you see that they are using a pod because all the comments are coming like in seconds. Bah, 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 bah. You have 20 comments that are written pretty similarly, even if they are. But you can, if you start to read a couple of comments, you see that these are AI made or somebody like that, because they are
Yeah.
all kind of similar,
Yeah.
and they all have like this also timestamps. So you know exactly 5 minutes, 5 minutes,
Yeah.
1 minute, 5 minutes, etc. Whatever they put, like, but there are also, I'm pretty sure, randomizers there. But even if you're using that, the key is also in LinkedIn, you need to respond to those comments.
Mm.
And this is also a good way
Mm.
to see if they are a bot or not, is
Yeah.
if the author responds to the comments and there is no response to the author, then again these are automatically made. If they have like 20 comments and they added 20 responses and none of them replied to the author, then again you can see that okay, this is something is going on there, basically.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so we get to the part in the conversation where we're talking about actionable tips, and you've given us a lot already. But just imagine that there's somebody out there that's listening to this interview that really wants to leverage the power of LinkedIn, and there's 3 to 5 things that they can implement right away. What would those things be?
Yeah. So another question is it personal or company accounts? Those are totally different. But I will come to the what we started in the beginning. Like, what is the reason you wanna use LinkedIn? What is the number one goal? Like, let's say it's sales. Let's say it's recruiting. Let's say it's whatever the building your personal brand. Okay. So then you need to map out who is your ideal audience. Like who I am. Like or the other way, like who I would like to be surrounded in the next 2 years. Who are the people that I want to be surrounded with in the next 2 years? Because that's how long it takes in the beginning. If you, for example, building a personal brand, and for example, let's say I want to be surrounded with business owners, CEOs, board members, and these people. These are my target audience. Okay, that's fantastic. So, but if you're living in US or Canada, these bigger countries, like like I don't recommend all in US are my target. No, definitely not. Maybe 100 mile radius, maybe 200 mile radius. So let's say we are want to go Ontario, Canada. So basically, it's a place, but okay, like I narrow down, so to say, basically my target audience. And then the question is, what is the value that I want to bring to those people? Maybe I finished my university. Oh, I don't have any experience. I don't have any money. I don't know what to add them. But then it's your personality that you're curious. You're asking, for example, the way to starting reaching to start people out is that, hey, I really love your background and you have done a lot. Like, what are your tips as a starting entrepreneur or as a starting somebody who started out of university or something? You can approach like that in people, and trust me, maybe 10 to 20% will reply to you. That is okay. So, but the thing is, in LinkedIn is it's a long time game, but you need to think also like don't be afraid of connecting people, but be very very polite when you connect with people. And if you like to ask for help, that works really really well in LinkedIn. Or you're looking for a mentor or something like that. But if you want to do sales, it's the same approach again. Like who are the people? What is target audience? What is the value that we bring? And then if you have those things written down, then try to optimize your profile so that when they come to it, they understand what is the service you offer, what is the company you work for, and what do you do. So those are, and make sure your profile picture is also it looks professional and it's up to date. It's not from 2005 or something like that. And 70 to 80% should be your face on your profile picture.
Well, those are some really great tips, and I hate to do this, but I have to bring up this question because I'm sure you see a lot of this on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn and AI. right? And I'm sure you have some opinions about that, and I'm sure you also caution your customers against overusing AI, right? So, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think AI is here to stay. AI is amazing, amazing tools, but again, like just like you mentioned, you need to know how to use them. So that is the main thing. Like I do not recommend. Yeah, we are also using AI to write some of our posts or do, but the AI does maybe 70 to 80% of the work, and then the final 20 we will go over manually. We go over by hand because it's the storytelling, it's the personalization. The AI when I did my post. It added some words that I have no idea how to even pronounce in English. My English again, like a basic. If the words are more than 5 characters, I have no idea what they mean. So I try to keep it extremely basic and simple. But the AI added some, and so yes, there are prompts that will help and etc. But again, like I think majority of people they are not. They don't know how to use it. That's the thing because I know that the people who are AI experts, etc., they make content that actually you don't even need to change because they have trained them and etc. They are really really fantastic. But again, and LinkedIn is also trying to adapt AI a lot, and I really do not like them because if I see the messages that it automatically prompts and etc. These are really really bad. And also, what I don't recommend is like LinkedIn says, "Hey, I will write the about section with AI with you." Don't use it. Like
Yeah,
it's
I hate
terrible. It's
this.
really really terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, so
yeah.
that's the yeah.
There was something that was circling around on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you've seen it, but it's something in your profile settings where you can go in and you can switch off that functionality where it's basically giving LinkedIn permission to use your data for like AI training, right? So that was
Yeah,
something that was circling around for a couple of weeks.
yeah. So basically, it was LinkedIn automatically added in the settings that whatever you post, whatever you do, it goes automatically to their AI LinkedIn training, and it is automatically turned on. So you need to turn it off if you don't want it. So basically, yeah. But LinkedIn is collecting a lot of data. So and I'm sure that 90%, 95% of LinkedIn users have no idea.
They have no idea that this exists. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly. Okay, so here comes the next question. What is a status quo in your area of expertise? So in this case, LinkedIn, that you passionately disagree with, and why? So what is it that people are saying about LinkedIn where you're saying, no, I don't agree with that at all?
Oh, no, it depends on the people who are listening. Is it the LinkedIn
Yeah.
trainers or is it average? With the LinkedIn trainers, I like a lot of them say all the right stuff. So like and so on. But most of the things like again like we talked about it, but it's the personal profiles. Like people think like whenever I do trainings etc. They say that oh we can fix our own profiles etc. And people think like it's quite easy, but actually it is quite challenging. That is something that I see a lot. Like people think like oh yes I can fix my profile alone, but trust me very few people can. And this is where I say like try like get professional help if you want your profiles to look good. Like if it's a copywriter, if it's your friend who knows how to speak better English etc., like get feedback or whatever. And what I also recommend with your personal profiles is write down like 5 to 10 questions and let somebody ask those questions from you, because then it's always easier to answer questions than go into front of your computer and say oh I need to do my profile makeover. I start doing it and then you are stuck. You have just no idea how to do it. Because but if somebody asks you hey tell me the things what you are proud of like in professional session, what are your achievements that you have done, or these are the questions you open up and they can record it, and then you have a really good so to say draft of what can you write in your personal profile, for example.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I've done that for clients before, like rewritten their LinkedIn profiles, and I can definitely attest to what you are saying that it does take time. It's not a simple exercise that you complete in 10 to 15 minutes because there is a bit of a process to it. You have to conduct the interview, you have to conduct some research, you have to talk to people that they've worked with and collaborated with, because it is in many ways, as you said, it's a kind of like a condensed uh, not necessarily a CV, but it's a condensed CV, it's a condensed bio, it's a condensed promotion piece, right? It's all these different things, at least in my opinion.
Mm,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So here comes the bonus question, Indrek, because
Mhm.
a lot of people outside of Europe, I'm just gonna say, probably have no idea about Estonia. Like number one,
Mm.
where it is, and they just don't know anything about this country. So if you were to tell an audience outside of Europe, like say specifically North America, one unique thing about your country, what would it be?
Oh, there are so many. I can make a new podcast about Estonia. And
Just
etc.
pick one. Just pick one.
Yeah, but if we go, what is the like most fascinating? A lot of
Hmm.
people have no idea that Skype was founded in Estonia,
Oh wow,
and
I didn't know that. Hmm.
Estonia has more is number one in the world per capita the unicorn startups we have, so many billion-dollar companies. So we have, I think, 11 or 12 billion-dollar startups here in Estonia,
Wow.
and we are extremely technologically advanced.
Yes.
So that is something I think like fascinates people. And we are also a digital nation. I
Hmm.
said you only one, but everybody who's interested, if they Google Estonia e-residency, they
Hmm.
think people can become digital residents of Estonia. Also, we are the only country in the world, I think, who does
Yeah.
this right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I did know that actually, right? Because
Hmm.
I did know somebody from Estonia, and she did mention that, right? So that's an incredible piece of information. Okay, for all you listeners out there that did not know where Estonia is or what Estonia is about, um, feel free to reach out to Indrek. Speaking of which, I want to thank you for coming on the show and for sharing your expertise and experience with the listeners. How can people get in touch with you, especially if they want to leverage LinkedIn for their businesses?
The easiest thing is just hit me up in LinkedIn, and they will find my name or Indrek Poldvi or B2B growth quite easily. And I think that is the best way. And all my emails, etc., are available. So hit me up, and more than happy to assist and consult whoever is interested.
Perfect, perfect. Once again, Indrek, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tanan, I think was the word, right? Yeah,
Perfect. Yeah.
yeah,
No, thank you, Christian, for doing it and inviting. It's easy to talk when you do the things.
yes,
Then it's easy to talk about them.
yeah. My
So
pleasure.
thank you.
Okay, take care, stay safe, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, same here.